Welcome to the Tech Mobility Podcast, brought to you by Playbook Investors Network, your strategic partner for unstoppable growth. Visit pincommunity.org to get started.
I'm Ken Chester. On the docket, battery storage, the key to renewable energy, ICE's electric shock gloves, and is the stick shift finally dead? To add your voice to the conversation, be it to ask a question, share an opinion, or even suggest a topic for future discussion, call or text the Tech Mobility Hotline. That number, 872-222-9793, or you can email the show directly, talk@techmobility.show. From the Tech Mobility News Desk. I don't want to say I told you so. I'm tempted to, but I'm not going to do that. But I do want to share this story with you. It appeared in Axios, and it's something that I told you was coming. And it looks like it's coming sooner and faster than even I anticipated. Here's the headline. China's open weight Kimi model stuns AI world with frontier level results. If you don't understand the term frontier level, let me explain that. In AI, their newest, most elaborate, advanced models are considered to be frontier. They do the stuff that even previous models don't do. It is their biggest, most complicated, sophisticated models they come up with. And at the rate that these models are evolving, it seems like all the time. Here's the thing. Chinese AI startup, Moonshot AI, stunned developers, and this was last month, with a massive new model that may rival the best American systems, and listen to this part, at a fraction of the cost. Why does this matter? Right now, in the United States of America, we are pursuing an ungodly amount of data centers. Data centers is the new vocabulary, and the water they require and the resources they require, and the states, cities, and towns that are chasing them anyway with additional benefits to please, please, please build that here. We're not talking a couple of Walmart-sized buildings. And a Walmart, in case you don't know, is roughly at about 100, a super Walmart, roughly 170,000 square feet, not counting the parking lot. Oh no, we're talking building centers, many multitudes larger than that, in smaller towns and near bigger cities, with everything that they require in terms of capital and materials and real estate. If China develops an open weight or an open model, that means anybody can improve on it. Anybody can have access to it for little or nothing. If you're using AI today aggressively, then you also know how much it costs. And if it's costing you a lot, you're looking for other alternatives to keep your edge while at the same time reducing the cost of having that edge. I told you, it's what I learned in college in economics. When the price of something gets high enough, it allows for substitutes. It brings substitutes. It brings supply into the market. This is exactly what's happening here. The Chinese have figured out not just how to come up with a model for a fraction of the money, and I ain't even talking billions, millions of dollars compared to the almost trillions of dollars that big data is spending in our country right now to build data centers and everything that goes with it and to develop these models. The model that they're talking about is called Kimi K3. That's Kimi. And its early performance is fueling awe across AI world and alarm in Silicon Valley and Washington. Yes, it should. Because just like anything, and I've told you this, part of the reason why I do this show every week is that the pace of technology is accelerating across everything. Everything. If you could see my in basket and the stack of stuff that I don't get to talk to you about every week. And it's growing. Not to mention what I've got in my email of at least 200 to 300 different articles that I can only scratch the surface of. And they're less than a month and a half old, by the way. With all this happening, here's what you need to know. Cost of providing what they call tokens, which is how they measure usage in AI right now, is going to fall. And even if the Chinese even hit mid-level performance, then for many people, they don't need the frontier, big, hairy, complicated, involved, intense models that enterprise businesses are paying top dollar for. If you're somebody of small business, a medium business, you probably don't need the cutting edge model. You could probably go one or two versions before that and be fine. If you have a competitor that can offer you the same or better service for less money, meaning you can get more value, you can grow your company or solve these problems or get an advantage for less money than your competitors are spending, wouldn't you do it? Yes, you would. In blind testing by AI evaluator Arena, developers preferred Kimi over every leading U.S. model for front-end coding, including Anthropic's Fable 5 and OpenAI's GPT 5.6 Soul. Not only did it beat the best that's out there at the time that they tested it, but developers actually preferred it without realizing what it was. In Arena's broader text ranking, K3 also outranked the standard version of Anthropic's Opus 4.8, a model that sat at the frontier of AI just weeks ago and tied to Soul. The big picture? Moonshot is offering K3 at prices well below the premium models, and it's challenging, raising fresh questions about how long U.S. labs can charge top dollar for frontier level intelligence. And let me take that a little further. If you're an investor that they're looking for you to invest billions of dollars for them to continue to grow, build these big data centers, buy all these chips from NVIDIA, then you got to start asking questions about, wait a minute. If an open source AI can beat you for a fraction of what you're spending, why am I investing in your business right now? How can you possibly make the kind of returns I would need to lend you or invest in you that kind of money? And that boils down to assets. That boils down to data centers, construction, land acquisition, building them out, supplying the very things that they need, water and power. Let me just be blunt with you. The cities and the counties that are taking a break, that are saying, whoa, some are even saying no, they're not wrong. This technology is moving at such a pace that, and this is me extrapolating a little bit. I believe in 3 to 5 years, most of the data centers they build in the next year or two will be obsolete. What are you going to do with these acres and acres? I'm talking about huge. You can't even fathom the size of the data centers they're trying to build. What is a town going to do? What is a utility going to do? Particularly in a small town and in the upper Midwest, it may be a co-op owned by the members. What are they going to do when that data center is no longer needed? And you got all this building, acres and acres of building that's now surplus, that you spent all this money for infrastructure that is no longer needed, and you're stuck with the cost of the infrastructure. Now what? Pay attention, people, because technology is ever increasing, and this race ain't over. But it follows the same trajectory of every other bubble we've ever seen relative to technology. This is no different. The key to renewable energy is battery storage. China's leading the way. You are listening to the Tech Mobility Show. Got a business idea stuck in your head? I'm Ken Chester, and my new book, 2-Hour Entrepreneur, isn't just a book. It's a complete system, a proven step-by-step method to build a real business in only 2 focused hours a week. No hustle, no burnout, just steady progress. Find it in ebook and paperback at kennethjchester.com, Amazon, and most online stores.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
We all have that someday idea. I'm Ken Chester, and I wrote 2-Hour Entrepreneur to finally help you start yours. This isn't just a book. It's a complete system that turns 2 focused hours a week into a real working business. Practical steps, not empty motivation. Find it in ebook and paperback at kennethjchester.com, Amazon, and most online bookstores.
Getting where you are today wasn't always easy. Where you're going should be real comfortable, secure. The 1996 Jimmy, coming on strong and sharp. Jimmy from GMC Truck, the strength of experience.
In 1996, General Motors, the GMC Truck division, wanted to slot it as a premium offering, as a premium vehicle, even before premium was really what we know it be today. So the GMC Jimmy, in case you haven't heard the term, would have been the same as the S10 Blazer, and both of these vehicles would be about the size of today's Trailblazer, maybe a little bit bigger, probably between a Trailblazer and an Equinox, really in size. And they wanted to position the GMC Jimmy as a cut above the S10 Trailblazer or the S10 Blazer in terms of comfort and sophistication and all that stuff. So a lifestyle piece aimed at folks looking to spend a little more, looking to be a little more sophisticated with their purchase. That's who they were aiming at back in 1996, some 30 years ago. Imagine a group of battery banks that together have enough power to keep all of Texas and California going on a peak summer day. That capacity is what China has already built in the space of 5 years, and that's just the beginning. With the AI boom straining power grids, the Chinese are betting on large-scale storage banks the size of shipping containers to help manage the load. Could that work here? This is topic A. People. We have talked about the electrical grid over and over. We've talked about renewables. Where I sit here in Iowa, we're one of the top states at generating wind energy and solar power. In fact, you go anywhere within 25 miles of Des Moines and you will find a wind farm. It's not hard to find. In fact, the utility that serves central Iowa, Mid-American Energy, has boasted that at least 50 to 75% of the power that's available is produced from renewables. So honestly, yeah, that can be done. But here's the problem. We've also talked about making it in America, that limited series that I did a while back. And I told you what the challenge is, particularly when it comes to electronics. It did not happen in 5, 10, 15 years. This drain has been going on for over 40 years. But we're at a point now where we are paying the price for hollowing out our domestic supply chain, particularly when it comes to electronics and these sophisticated items that we need. I don't care how you feel about wind energy or solar energy right now. Whether you like it or not, it is part of the grid mix. And I have said that batteries was the key. The problem is, still, much of the supply chain is not stateside. It's out in China, the Far East somewhere, Korea, Indonesia, out that way. And yes, we're making progress. I'll name some companies that build stationary batteries. Tesla, you heard of. Honda, you might not have realized that Honda does. And recently, in recent years, both GM and Ford have pivoted towards that market. And there are a lot of ways that domestic makers are pivoting to the market. For some, they are repurposing EV batteries and stacking them together to make stationary battery installations for the grid, for grid level service. Because an EV battery, and I've said this before, even at 80% charge, it's not good enough to put it in an EV car, but it's still good enough to be repurposed, typically for grid use or some stationary power requirement. Our problem is, as long as batteries are using rare earth materials, as long as they're using magnesium, cobalt, lithium, we're going to be at a disadvantage. The good news, I've reported here over the last 3 to 4 years, the trends that I told you would happen when folks got serious about scaling up stateside relative to EV and EV battery manufacturing. And I've talked about different elements. The LFP variant, which is lithium iron phosphate, with iron and phosphate not being rare earth materials. Other ways that lithium is being mined or about to be mined or recycled or recaptured. In some cases, totally reimagining how the batteries are made, what's used in the batteries, and how they go. This is all happening in real time. But right now, today, we continue to be at a disadvantage. The key to renewables in the United States of America are large battery installations, grid level. They can store the excess power when it's sunny or it's windy and bring it into the grid when it's not. And they can provide it for a cost way lower than what they call hot standby. And hot standby is having a generating plant that is running but not connected to the grid, available to connect to the grid if needed. That's a very expensive way of doing things, and ratepayers get to pay for that utility using that generating station, even if it's never online. It's part of your rate base. Batteries cost way less than that, folks. And there's a lot of ways we can get here from there. But right now, today, we are captive. Even the companies that are building here are getting some of the raw materials from the China supply chain. And I'm talking about GM and Ford. Tesla builds their power banks in China and exports them to the rest of the world. I don't know how much of that they build here, but it's a matter of incentives. You know, you can poo-poo, but we know. Here's what we know. We know that the grid needs replacement, and we're talking trillions of dollars. We know that electricity use is growing at 5% a year, and we're going to need to bring on a lot more capacity than we have. And the short-term fixes that we're using, which is keeping coal plants open or delaying the closure of some, is not the way out. New nuclear, the small modular reactors, they're years from testing, let alone coming online. So that's going to be a while. Larger nuclear reactors take longer. And I'm thinking the AR-1000 from Westinghouse. That's a whole nother conversation. We've got to get the supply chain set up here. We've got to develop batteries that don't use rare earth materials and break this hold on China. Full stop. Batteries are the way out. Recycling and repurposing some of them is part of the issue. Getting some of this rare earth materials that are out recycled, another part of the issue. And just thinking smarter is even better. But we need to do it. And that's the most important thing that I could possibly share. ICE plans to spend millions of dollars on electric shock gloves. Yes, these are a thing, and that's next. This is the Tech Mobility Show.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than aonmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. aonmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
The Associated Press has reported that ICE plans to spend tens of millions of dollars on gloves that give people electric shocks. The user's manual for the gloves says that these gloves could contribute to, quote, sudden death, unquote. Now, for sure, I'm no biology student, but I do remember that the human body is mostly water and operates on an electrical current. That external electricity applied to the human body don't mix. I mean, like lightning, electric shock. Just saying. Wow. This is topic B. Now, let me preface this because I need to be real clear here, and I want you to understand where I'm going. I am not having this conversation about ICE and what they're doing. That's not this. I am talking solely about the use of these gloves. That's it. The other conversations, there are other programs that can debate that until they change various shades. This program is not one of them. But here's what I want you to know. It is tough enough in a world that we live in, all the way around. It's a challenge if you're law enforcement. It's a challenge if you're a certain kind of American citizen. It's a challenge regardless of your status if you live here. Everybody's going through. And again, this is not that conversation. What worries me right here is that here is a device that while certainly I can see certain applications that make sense. You got somebody that's hopped up on a drug that's showing superhuman strength and you can't contain them. This may be a way to do it. Okay. But my problem is, and it doesn't matter who you are, even though the intentions may be good and noble, somebody is always going to abuse it. And that's the problem. According to the company that makes these gloves, they say that, number one, that it's applied to the skin. Number two, that the gloves are not, when you put them on, they're not always active. You actually have to activate them. And if you do apply it to bare flesh, they're saying upwards of 15 seconds. Although their videos show folks falling out in big pain in as little as 2 to 3 seconds. Here's the problem. Using these gloves, you do not know a person's medical condition. You don't know if the use of this electricity may cause an outsized event that you had not intended. And what happens in the heat of the moment if one or more than one person decides to use gloves on a single individual? Now, the company says, don't do that. And that's wonderful, but in the heat of the moment, that could happen. I wanted to share this with you because I saw nothing, no good can come from this. I just don't see it. I really don't. They also said, and this is interesting, that if you're going to use bare skin, stay away from the head, stay away from the groin, stay away from certain parts of the body. Do not use this on those parts. Let me quote from the manual. The manual also says, conductive distraction and de-escalation devices, or CD3, may increase the effects that can cause sudden death, including psychological changes. It then lists increases in blood pressure, respiration, and heart rates, changes in heart rhythm, and increases in adrenaline. The manual says that the gloves must come in contact with the subject's skin and are not effective through clothing or hair. And here's something interesting it says. It also says the gloves could be degraded on individuals or animals that are extremely hairy. Okay, something I did not need to know. Let me be clear about what I just said a minute ago. This is exactly from the book. Another page includes a diagram of the human body and says officers can grab anywhere on the body with the gloves while avoiding the head, face, throat, chest, and groin areas. If the subject resists, though, another page says to deploy the gloves as necessary. I don't know. I just see this is not going to end well. A lot of people have conditions that in the heat of the moment, you don't know they've got that condition. And maybe in the heat of the moment, maybe even they didn't know that they had a condition that made them vulnerable in this situation. Now, the company also said, in looking at this, to use the device, officers must complete a course and be recertified every 2 years. That's what they said. They're spending millions of dollars. I don't know what these cost to pair. I don't. But obviously, it's going to be more than a few hundred, I'm sure. Anytime that you choose something like this, I mean, we talk about tasers, but at least you see that coming and you make a choice. And there's enough challenge. But we're talking about being close on somebody to put your hands on them and apply an electric shock without knowing their condition, their situation, or anything. Pre-existing conditions. I am a believer in law enforcement. I was raised to respect law enforcement. I taught my children and my grandchildren to respect law enforcement, full stop. So that's not where I'm coming from. My concern is there are other ways to de-escalate a situation that are non-lethal. This may not be intended to be lethal, but it has the ability to inadvertently be lethal. Then what? And who's responsible? You're going to sue the officer? You're going to sue the company? And that's assuming that the user was properly trained. And again, I ask, in the heat of the moment, where you have one or more, maybe 2, 3, 4 officers involved, what is to say inadvertently that maybe 2 of them, in dealing with a situation, put their hands on an individual to subdue or de-escalate with their gloves on? It says 1 and talked about what could happen. 2? I don't know. I really think that in today's world, my opinion, that a little bit more de-escalation would be in order. We tend to react first and think second. That's not okay. And that doesn't matter who you are, because I'm not drawing any lines. I'm just talking about general public safety. Yeah, I'm all about law and order, and we should have it. But there are times when that also means protecting all citizens, because people have a right to be protected. And they have a right to at least, respond to this. Because what happens if it's just a scuffle and you grab the wrong person? Now what? And something bad happens. I'm not okay with this. And I'm not comfortable with it either. And I just hope I'm wrong. That's all I can tell you. I really, really hope that I'm wrong with this. But we'll see it play out, and no doubt it'll be in the news. We'll just see which way it goes. And I hope they get the training they absolutely need, because that's extremely important. If you're going to use something this dire, best you be trained and know how to use it. It's just like a gun and could be lethal force depending on the situation. No. I'm just concerned. I saw it. I wanted to share it with you. Has the time finally come to mourn the death of the stick shift? We are the Tech Mobility Show. Tired of business advice that means quitting your job or grinding all night? I'm Ken Chester. My book, 2-Hour Entrepreneur, is different. It's not just a book. It's a step-by-step system you run in 2 hours a week. Consistency beats intensity. Get it in ebook and paperback at kennethjchester.com, Amazon, and most online bookstores. Build yours 2 hours at a time.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
Reading a book is easy. Doing the work is hard. I'm Ken Chester. My 2-Hour Entrepreneur Accountability System turns my proven method into weekly do-the-work assignments that build your business 2 hours at a time. Not sure yet? Get a free chapter before you buy at free-chapter.kennethjchester.com. Read it, then decide. Your idea finally deserves a real system. I got my driver's license in the fall of 1974. And full disclosure, I failed the first time. But the second time, I nailed it. I drove a blue 1974 Plymouth Valiant 4-door sedan. It was the driver's ed car, never forget, 3-speed automatic. And when it came time shortly thereafter to buy my first car, my dear old dad found me a 1964 Dodge 330 sedan. Sold by one of his work buddies. It was stored in an old barn. I'll never forget the first time I saw it. It was kind of rickety. I believe the kids call those a hoopty. Yeah, it was. Manual steering, no radio, hydraulic brakes, not power, and a 3-speed manual transmission. Shifter was on the column. And back then we called him 3 on the tree. And rather than teach me how to drive the thing, he drove it home. And the day that I was going to get to drive it, he just told me, get in and drive. I'll never forget, but get in and drive. Yeah, that was an interesting day. Yeah, it was not pretty. And I didn't mention, by the way, that the pressure plate on the 3-speed was fairly worn out, so whatever adjustment we had left grabbed at the very top of the clutch travel to add insult to injury. But within a week, I had the process down mostly. And now I hear, with some level of mourning for me, that the day the manual died is here. This is Topic C. From that Dodge, I can pretty much drive anything with a stick shift. And I pretty much have. 3-speed on the column, 4-speed on the floor, 5-speed on the floor, 6-speed on the floor. Ford Bronco, even for a minute, had a 7-speed manual on the floor. I can drive it. 3-speed straight, 24-foot straight truck, international straight truck, 68. Yeah, I could drive it. It is a rare talent that is largely gone. They said this past year, the take rate for manual transmission was 1%. 1%. 1. And I looked up, because I was curious, how many cars or how many vehicles you could actually buy in 2026 that still offered a manual transmission. Three BMWs, 1 Mazda, Nissan Z, 2 Porsches, 1 Subaru, 2 Toyotas, that's sports cars, sports sedans, BMW, Cadillac, obviously the Ford Mustang, 2 types of Honda Civic Performance, the Hyundai Elantra N, Mazda 3 hatchback, which is a lot of fun, and the Volkswagen Jetta GLI. That's it. For trucks, would you believe there's only one pickup you can buy in the United States of America that has a manual transmission, and it's not from the big 3. It's the Toyota Tacoma, and it's only available in the double cab configuration with the I-Force engine and limited to the TRD Sport and TRD Off-Road trims. That's it. You can get it in the Jeep Wrangler still, in the 4-cylinder, and like I said, a Ford Bronco. See, back in the day when I got my license, back then, manual transmission had a whole different connotation. Back then is what the cheap farmer bought or the cheapskate bought when he wanted a stripped-down car. I don't want no automatic. I don't want no radio. I don't want no power steering. I don't need no power brakes. Give me hand crank windows. I want an inexpensive vehicle. And the manual transmission vehicles were pitched that way. I remember 1975 Gervais Dodge in Ayer, Massachusetts. 1975 Dodge Dart. It was forest green, 3-speed on the column, vinyl floor, no radio. That is what we sold. That is back in the day when a manual transmission was equated to low cost, inexpensive. I want extremely basic transportation. And the automakers back then would oblige you. Trucks, shoot, manual transmission truck was literally the standard. You know, you'd have a 3-speed manual, 4-speed manual. And then as you got sophisticated, 5-speed manual, maybe even a 6-speed manual. It was for inexpensive work truck. And in some cases, it was regular cab with an 8-foot bed, and you were just trying to get a farm truck or a work truck, and that manual helped you move loads. It let you control and get the most out of the engine it was equipped with, typically a straight 6. And you know what? We were just fine with it. Then came the late 90s and the early 2000s, and how the manual transmission was marketed changed. It was no longer the cheap option. Automakers saying, you know what? For performance and handling, we're going to offer you a manual transmission. So it became a performance enhancement. Typically, in both the Corvette and the Dodge Challenger, we're talking about the Tremec 6060, which is a 6-speed manual. And this thing was so sophisticated, depending on the speed you were in first gear. If you were above 19 miles an hour in a Tremec 6060, it forced you into third gear. You couldn't get second. It made you skip shift, whether you wanted to or not. I never liked that. Said, car, if I want you to help me, I'd drive an automatic. I know what to do. Most of us did. We shifted according to the noise and speed of the engine. And that's how you did it. I'm not even going to talk about double clutching. That's a whole other thing that goes back further. And if you're a person of a certain age, you know what I'm talking about. Quick story. When I was a guide, work study, going into college, Museum of Transportation in Brookline, Massachusetts, before they moved downtown, I gave rides in the afternoon to those folks touring the facility in a 1937 Ford fire truck, an old fire truck that the museum had that we drove. Well, because the gears weren't synchronized, meaning that you could just shift by pressing clutch in once, you had to synchronize engine speed and shift. They call it double clutching. You'd wind the vehicle up to a certain speed, put your foot in the clutch, take it out of gear, get the speed to match, hit the clutch again, and then put it in the next gear. If you hit it, it was great. If you missed it, everybody knew because you heard that noise throughout. That's what synchronization did away with. So really, as I'm looking at this and I'm mourning the loss, I've been in every cycle of the manual transmission, from cheapskate to performance to now. And I got to tell you, it's a type of thing that brings you really close and in sync with your vehicle in a way that even the most sophisticated automatics just don't do. And I'm going to miss it because it was a lot of fun once I mastered it. It took a while, but I did master it. And, not to mention back then, fuel economy was better with the manuals. But the automatics are so good now, the automatics are actually better fuel economy than today's manuals. Oh, well. But yeah, manual transmission. I hope I'm not the only one. If you were one that used to drive one, drop me a line, share me a story. You can reach out at talk@techmobility.show. And I'd love to hear. Maybe we'll share and we can mourn together.
This is the Tech Mobility Podcast.
Reading a book is easy. Doing the work is hard. I'm Ken Chester. My 2-hour entrepreneur accountability system turns my proven method into weekly do-the-work assignments that build your business 2 hours at a time. Not sure yet? Get a free chapter before you buy at free-chapter.kennethjchester.com. Read it, then decide. Your idea finally deserves a real system.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than aonmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. aonmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
Got a business idea stuck in your head? I'm Ken Chester, and my new book, 2-Hour Entrepreneur, isn't just a book. It's a complete system, a proven step-by-step method to build a real business in only 2 focused hours a week. No hustle, no burnout, just steady progress. Find it in ebook and paperback at kennethjchester.com, Amazon, and most online stores.